So it probably won't surprise you to hear me as a Rev tell you that the time of Jesus' death and resurrection is quite important to me. And as we remember Jesus' death on Good Friday, which is tomorrow, and then celebrate his resurrection on Resurrection Sunday, that story as a whole I think is a really powerful story, and I wonder if you'd indulge me a moment and let me tell you some of the reasons why I think it is. There's something about this arc of life, death and resurrection that is imbued with such profound hope. It's a story of hope that is beyond, I think, other forms of hope, in that no matter what is going on, no matter what's happened so far, no matter what you're facing, no matter what you believe or fear or hope the future might be, there is this opportunity to let go of that and discover something even better. That's how I see the story of life, death and resurrection. I think because there's this thing, we are constantly in the mode of trying to hold on to our life, to protect ourselves, to survive, to get by, and that's the way everything around us directs us to be. And we're kind of told if you don't look after yourself, no one else is going to, and so it's up to you to fight for yourself, and all those sorts of themes are very common in our world. And the story of Jesus' life, death and resurrection introduces the possibility that maybe rather than holding on to your life and protecting yourself and taking things unto yourself, if you were to give yourself in the ultimate way, if you give yourself to the point of almost extinguishment, maybe there's something beyond that that has more richness and fullness and hope and potential to it than anything you've known so far. That's what I believe. And I believe it because I've experienced it. I believe it because when we live for ourselves, that's a pretty small world. When we come to understand that we can give our lives to a much bigger cause, a much bigger world as it were, that becomes very rich, satisfying and compelling. And so no matter what might be happening for you, so you're facing some exams, for example. Exams are tough, they can be stressful, you might be worried about how well you're going to do. It is possible to reframe that in terms of, I want to be equipped to serve the world I'm going to be living in. So I'm going to give my best. I'm going to work as hard as I can. I'm going to learn as much as I can. I'm going to equip myself as efficiently as I can to offer all that I can. Then the story is much less about you and much more about what you have to offer and offering it in the most helpful way. And in a funny kind of way, I reckon that actually is liberating. It's freeing. It takes the stress out of it, in that, you can offer more, you can offer less, but offer what you can. It's not all about you in that sense. And I know that we're told these days that it is all about you, but that's a terribly heavy weight to carry through life. I think you're much better off knowing it's not all about you. It's actually about everybody, and you can make a contribution to that. So I think the story of life, death and resurrection speaks to that, because it says you can only really find your life when you lose your life. That's not to say you take a life. Taking life is never good, whether it's yours or anybody else's. But giving life, and you've only got one life to give, and that's your own, giving your life to others and for others is always a good thing. And I think the gospel teaches us that. So, this Easter time, you may not be religious, you may not believe in God, you may have never heard the story of Jesus' life, death and resurrection, and even so, I think it offers so much. So, gosh, walking up that hill made me tighter than I expected. I'm obviously a religious dude. That's my role as chaplain at Wesley College, and I know many people aren't religious dudes, but whether you're religious or you're not, the story of life, death and resurrection, I think, offers such profound hope and help to us in finding our way through life. Always happy to talk with you about that, and I pray that whether you are studying or enjoying some recreational time this Easter season, God will be with you and bless you, and that you will be equipping yourself to offer all that you can to our world. Our future depends on you guys. That's a scary thought, isn't it? God bless. Go well.